Good afternoon, everyone. It's pretty quiet in here. I'm Kurt Robinson with Robinson Helicopter Company, just to make sure you're in the right room. I give everybody a chance to settle, whatever. Something I say every year, and I say it with a lot of pride. Last year, 2023, was a great year. And throughout our company's history, every year to us seems like it's been a good year. We've always kept moving forward. One of Frank's favorite phrases to say. And I like to look back at last year. We still had supplier issues, supplier constraints, and yet we managed to increase production on all levels. We delivered a total of 296 helicopters last year, which compares to the 258 helicopters we delivered in 2022. And deliveries for the individual models were as follows. For the R66, we did 118. That's an increase from 101 the year before. For the 44, we did 163 last year. That compares to 142 the year before. The 44 breaks down into 101 Raven 2s, 53 Raven 1s, and 9 cadets. On the R22, we matched the deliveries that we had done the year before. We did a total of 15 last year. So again, that adds up to 296 versus 258. That, which is very common for us, we always seem to average about 2/3 exports and then one-third in the U.S. And last year, it was 64% of our deliveries were outside the U.S., which left 36% of our sales, 108 aircraft, in the U.S. The leading export sales, just in general, so you have an idea, number one was Brazil, then Australia, then Canada, and one that I'm kind of proud to see is Mexico has really picked up their sales and is doing really well. So it does vary all over the world, and it's always kind of interesting. You can see what economies are moving and growing as our sales go through. We have to date delivered over 13,800 aircraft worldwide, which includes over 1,300 R66. Sometime later this year, we will be delivering our 14,000 aircraft. That's something I'm incredibly proud of. And part of that is, which I'm really pleased to report, the R66, we can now say, based on Rolls-Royce's records, has flown over 1.8 million flight hours without a single incident with the engine, no engine failures at all. Okay. It's one of the reasons why the R66 sales are continuing to grow and to take off around the world, and the aircraft is just now hitting its stride. We expect its sales to continue pretty heavily going into the future. And right now, our backlog, which I recognize is too much, but currently we're working to do 366s a week, 4 R44s per week, and 1 R22 every 2 weeks. Even with that production rate of 3 a week on the R66, which gives you 150 R66s this year, we're actually sold out to the end of second quarter 2025. That's something that most people would be pleased with. We almost feel like offering an apology for, because we are working very hard to increase our production and get it up across all models, and in particular in our spares and product support in our components. We saw a substantial increase in the delivery and shipment of parts and components last year. We actually delivered over 400 field overhaul kits, which is an amazing number. And yet I've already heard from numerous people at the show that it takes too long to take deliveries. We're well aware of that. I think we've eliminated most of the vendor shortages, and we've also increased our employment from 1,000 over a year ago to we're over 1,100 employees right now. And we are, again, continuing to reduce those, and we'll keep adding employees and increasing production until we can get it down to reasonable delivery times for people in the world. What makes me really pleased is to see how much our aircraft are being used all over the world. It's just a phenomenal thing. I'll just touch on one thing that is, if you've been at the show, if you've seen around, if you've seen the Heli-Expo safety booth, This is something I'm incredibly proud of because most of these improvements and enhancements in safety have all been while I have been president, and I have pushed it. And we really do have a real desire to enhance safety and to do whatever we can think of to make flying more reliable and hopefully translates into safer. The first thing you'll notice, both in our booth and at the Heli-Expo booth, is that all of our aircraft now have new symmetrical stabilizers on it. This is after many, many years of research, development, testing that we have come up with, we believe, or we know is a better tail rotor design or tail stabilizer design, which basically takes away the right roll on the aircraft. It is now certified on the 44, the 66, and as you can see, we have a 22 that has it on it. We're just waiting for buy-off, which should occur in the next month or two for the 22. In recognition of how much this improves the aircraft, when we were designing it, we knew that we needed to design a field kit so that people could readily retrofit their aircraft. It didn't want to make people have to buy a new tail cone. We know shipping costs and everything, that's pretty awkward. So we have developed kits that we are basically selling at our cost that can be retrofitted on the aircraft to let everybody change over. And I do think it's one of those things that doesn't help you when you're in the flight envelope, although I've talked to a couple pilots who've been in some pretty good turbulent conditions, and they absolutely say it makes an improvement, but it will help you outside the flight envelope. And so we're encouraging people to make this transition as rapidly as they can. Believe me, we are producing stabilizers as fast as we can. The other items that'll be at that Heli-Expo that are being highlighted is the bladder fuel tanks that we've had since pretty early teens and have now pretty much gone through the field. The bird strike windshields, which we are very pleased to see, like close to 60% of the aircraft on the 66 are included those. And then also, the thing that I really do think is game-changing and has actually surprised the investigative authorities around the world is our camera system, the video. It is a game changer. It's a 4K. It has incredible visibility. I know I've talked about it and shown it in shows past, but now that it's been out there, it's been an incredible tool for pilots learning to fly that want to look at their flights. I mean, it's also fun for tour or what have you, but it's bigger improvement are the things that we've been really proud of is that you have a mechanic or you have somebody, a pilot that's flying an aircraft and they think something's wrong or they have an issue. You get to say, show me. Just pull out the video, send it to us, and our tech department has been excellent at being able to look at it and say, oh, I know what's going on there. And so it allows for a very rapid and improved maintenance. Of course, its other key design is helping in accident investigation and reconstruction. And we've already seen it in effect, both here in the United States and around the world. And without a doubt, it really does help us do the one thing that we all need to do in an accident. It tells us what really happened, because you can't make a fix until you truly know what's going on. So all of those improvements, I will tell you that personally I am incredibly proud of, and I like the fact that our company is now leading in the safety environment, and I know we'll continue to do so in the future. So the other little subject that I got is actually my father started the company, Frank, for those of you who don't know who he is, started the company in 2073. Nice. He retired in 2010. That meant he worked at our company for 37 years. I happen to notice that this year is my 40th year. So I'm like, one, I got you beat, Dad. But two, I also know, and this process has actually began many, many years ago, is that we need to move forward. We can all see it's around you. You're going to love seeing it at the show. All the advances, everything is going that much more rapidly, the improvements and everything in technology. So we knew that we needed to be a part of that group and we need to go forward. We need to go from not just 1,100 employees, we need to go to 3,000 employees. We need to just not have 3 models, we need to be able to have 4, 5, 6. We're already a global company, but we need to get larger, we need to go forward. So with that, I understood that I needed to bring in, or we needed to have people that could handle that kind of growth, and frankly are a little bit younger than me and would be willing to take on that. I am absolutely pleased to say that we have found that very person in David Smith. David has worked in this industry for over 20 years. I'm going to let him give a little bit of his background on it, but he has, I met him several years ago when he was done a little bit of the 505 project and came in and talked to Pete and I about the 66. And even then, both Pete and I walked out, and his enthusiasm, his knowledge, everything he had, it was like, wow, this is a great person, somebody that we'd want to lead our company. And even more importantly, I remember Frank telling me is our company should really be run by an engineer. Nobody knows that better than I do. I have done, and I thank Pete Riedel so much for all the stuff he's done with me, and we've been a team. But I knew that handing it off, I really, really wanted to hand it to an engineer, somebody who understood our philosophy and what we can do. So with that, we have nominated Pete, and apparently effective today, immediately, I will be stepping or transitioning into an advisory role and letting David, not letting him, he's earned it, he'll be taking over and going from there. But just so you know, it's not like I'm going away or anything. I am still there at the company, and my goal is to help, to assist, whatever. I don't want to undermine. My job is to help him in any way I can, and that's what I plan to do in the near future. So without further ado, please let me introduce David Smith. Thank you.
Thank you, Kurt. And I have to say, the Robinson family, so Kurt and Laura, have been so welcoming throughout this process. We, as a family, had to make the decision to move from the middle of the U.S. to the West Coast, having never lived on that side of the continent before. It was a big shift, but everyone's been so welcoming at Robinson. One of the things that I think our customers, our dealers, our service centers, the worldwide network of people who fly our product, they know we are a family. And so I think you're going to hear that language and how I refer to folks. Those people who are in the family know what it's like, and you know how welcoming it is. I think we're going to do more of that. So that's a culture that will be part of kind of how I approach the business moving forward. I want to start by saying first, thank you to our dealers and service center team members. We have a lot of people in the room, a lot of employees in the room. Thank you as well. I think part of how over the last year I've been able to learn about the Robinson kind of secret sauce and how things are done is because people are so generous in the organization. So I really appreciate it. I think we're going to continue to grow together, and that generosity will definitely make this entire organization grow quickly and stay on top. So we absolutely can do that. As Kurt mentioned, we have a lot to be proud of. I think the work that Kurt's done over the last 15 years and the team has done really over the last 40 years have really established in the industry the largest distribution network, the largest service center network, and really the largest installed civil fleet in the world. We are working very hard to make sure those products stay competitive. So you'll see at the booth today a lot of product that are the current state-of-the-art coming off the production line with all the safety enhancements Kurt mentioned, bird strike windows, cockpit camera. You'll also see some advanced technology demonstration in our static booth. We have a law enforcement aircraft that's already kind of configured and fully proven, certified in the US, and that one's destined for Brazil. We're really proud of those types of projects that help make our product even more impactful in the world. And you'll see that through both the static exhibits, the rotor safety booth, and our main booth at the show. One of the things that I think is people know a little bit about Robinson, but I want to say the things that have appealed so much to me and what I really think are our differentiations. I mentioned the culture, but we also, our strategy is very sound. And as we grow, it's going to be a big part of what we do and what makes us different from our competitors. We are very vertically integrated. And since the pandemic, the reason why our deliveries have been able to grow is because the team had very good foresight about holding inventory and managing through. We knew there would be disruptions, and the team did a great job keeping the limited supply chain exposure we have to a minimum. So while other folks are struggling to keep and hold their production rates, we're able to grow. And that's just the beginning. So we've got a lot of work ahead of us, but we think we can increase production. As Kurt said, we have goals this year that are another step up in production. And I think we can do that. And I think there's even more growth beyond that. We're big proponents of all the elements of our product portfolio. So I want to see the 22 grow. That's an area that we definitely want to invest in and continue to control the entry point where pilots really learn to fly. This is the Robinson generation, and almost every member of the HAI and now VAI, if you go and visit inside their business, they're defined by Robinson trainees as well. So they're leaders, they're executives, they all trained in Robinson. So it's an incredible privilege to lead this company, and I think that the opportunities are endless. So I'm looking forward to growing together. Robinson's hungry for more. We are not satisfied with just the products that we serve today and the end markets we serve today. We are working to develop regions that today have been deprived of vertical lift. So I see our Indian dealer here, and they've worked very hard for many years to try to grow that market. We're going to work together to grow that market into the next US or Australia for vertical lift, and you'll see the volumes in the years ahead. I'm excited to work together on that. You'll see at the booth today, and also in the media press lead up, we have been developing this film series called Climb Higher, and some of our partners who help produce it are in the back. Thanks for coming. They've worked very hard on site with a large cast of professional cinematographers and creative spirits that can drive and tell the story of our customers. Many of our customers are small businesses. You'll see me on a small business panel tomorrow. But one of the things I love about Robinson is really when you get down to it, our business is built off of thousands of small businesses. We can tell their stories. So today you'll see the Climb Higher series is telling 2 stories. We'll have more to add to that family of video pieces in the months ahead. But we're very proud of our role in that, and we want to continue to have that role in this industry. And so you'll see more from us in how we stimulate and grow small businesses all around the world. You may also notice one of the aircraft we have on exhibit is a tech demonstrator or a prototype of an unmanned vehicle that uses our product as part of the future of aviation. We're not going to speculate about exactly how the market's going to evolve in that, but you can be certain that Robinson will be in the middle of the future of aviation. The work we're doing with that partner and with others to explore autonomy, to explore unmanned systems and manned-unmanned teaming, also things in the future for pilot awareness, pilot aids, and workload reduction. We are in the middle of the future of aviation today, and you'd expect that from Robinson. We have product all over the globe. Every authority has approved our product for development, so we have experimental aircraft that are in various regions developing all parts of the advanced air mobility chain. So expect more of that from Robinson. That's one of the things as an engineer I crave. We want to do new products, we want to improve the products we have, but we also want to make sure we are part of setting the vision for the future. So you'll see us actively speaking in that space and developing that space. Actions matter most. Very proud of some of the customers we've developed in the last several years on law enforcement. I see Bob hiding in the back. You can't hide, Bob. I see you. We've got a number of great customers that Bob has worked very hard over his career to help develop the law enforcement segment for Robinson. We've got customers that are now finding our product to be indispensable for public safety. The aircraft that we've delivered now for the 66, the latest version of law enforcement, show a 1/3 cost operating advantage over the competition. We need to tell that story in more places. So one of the things you'll see more of is actively telling that story as well, that today we serve and train a lot of law enforcement officers as part of the development of the air support divisions, but we also have mainline aircraft that are taking the lion's share of public safety in a lot of regions around the country. Very proud of that work. That's the beginning of a push from Robinson to do more public safety work. We also have a lot of aircraft that are being looked at for missions like firefighting. We obviously have a huge role in ag. These missions, you're going to see those stories more in the marketing and the press we put out. So I hope you enjoy seeing the videos from Climb Higher. They feature a lot of these in the videography and all the storytelling and interviews. You're going to see more of that from Robinson in the years ahead. In the years ahead, you can expect Robinson to continue growing in some of the same ways. We've invested heavily in ourselves. We do a significant amount of manufacturing on site. If you haven't been to our factory, please come visit. We're very open, want to share the manufacturing skills and experience we've had over the years. We are hiring right now, so I've got a team of folks in the room that are trying to grow our staff beyond the 1120 or 1130 we're at today. Like Kurt said, 3,000. I can't wait. You can bet that I'll be here for that milestone, and I think 3,000, we have so much opportunity when you consider all the growth in markets that don't necessarily have all the vertical lift tools in their toolbox. We can do that as a business. So you'll see us actively involved in growing regions that today don't have the vertical lift solution. So I want to end with where I started, which is I'm incredibly appreciative of the Robinson family for the trust they've put in me. I love that one of the very rare things in aviation is the opportunity to have a good relationship and a connection with the leaders of the past. Many businesses cycle leaders so fast they really can't keep that continuity and that learning. We are blessed in that from how Robinson has built the industry over the years and how we have a culture that allows for that. So very excited about the growth for our business, and I really appreciate all the folks that came and joined us here today. Now we will take questions, and Rosie has a microphone that can follow around the room.
Does anybody have any questions? There you go.
Hi, I'm Catherine, Human Resources Manager for Robinson. Now, so I was walking through and heard an executive from one of the competitors say that he had heard that we're phasing out the R22. So I thought we'd give ourselves the opportunity to put a stamp on it, having both of you up there, that the R22 is soaring.
Yeah, I'll take that one. I think first, we know the important role that training has in our current industry and all the growth that we could imagine in front of us. So we have two options for customers that want to train as a pure training business with our Cadet and our R22. And we're going to invest in those products to make sure that they are competitive, they're cost effective, and they are reliable for customers all around the world. So we are committed to those production lines and making sure that they can serve customers in their unique training requirements anywhere around the world.
Hello.
Hi.
Matt Thurber, AIN. So
Sure.
what new helicopter are you just itching to build?
Oh,
Nothing smaller.
that's right. Nothing smaller. Yeah, I'll say as an engineer that there are parts of this business that we are making do, the industry is making do with aircraft that are 50, 60-year-old from assembly, and their design was even earlier. And I think we have a unique value proposition of rugged, reliable, dependable aircraft that we've proven it in many austere environments, from Australia to Africa to the middle of India. We've got some great products all around the globe. We can build product that are larger, that support more of those kinds of missions, where today people are living with older designs, maybe not the most latest safety standards, the crash-worthy fuel tanks, the bird strike windows, latest autopilots. We can do all of that within a larger footprint, so absolutely.
Ken Swartz, Vertical Flight Society. You mentioned advanced air mobility, and I'm wondering, it's a two-part question. What do you see in terms of the landscape? Is it an opportunity? Is it also a threat to Robinson in terms of what's going on? And where do you see the specific opportunity for a company like yours?
Yeah, so I'll talk a couple different points on that. So advanced air mobility has a lot of different stakeholders and interests that are coupled into one topic. So I'll break it down to a few things. One, from an emissions perspective and environmental perspective, the technology that we're seeing it develop in electrification is very positive. Similarly, we're developing unleaded fuels to support our high-performance piston engines as well. These are technologies that need time and need investment. They're very important for long-term environmental interests all around the world. So that's step one, is one piece of AAM is a future potential net zero aircraft. We'll be active in that. Our aircraft perform favorably over the ones that are out in the world are being considered today for multi-mission applications, aircraft where you need to hover for a long time. Our aircraft are designed for that type of a performance, and I think even when you change the power plant in them, they still perform favorably over alternate arrangements. The second piece that I think is a bit trickier for helicopters is noise, and we do need to spend more time on noise, and so we have a lot of folks. We've hired, our engineering team has grown 50% in the last year. One of the reasons for that is we want to invest in technology that targets those sorts of challenges in helicopters. So blade shapes, tip shapes, things that can help with noise that we know the industry has progressed in several of the OEMs, so we can do those things as well. So investing there is going to be important. But when you consider that a helicopter with an alternate power plant can pair better with a jet fuel powered R66, and you can have those side by side and run a fleet with standardized pilots, standardized operating procedures, and very limited operational differences, that's a better future for safety. One of the challenges of the AAM environment today is there's so many variations with so many different control approaches and so many different cockpit designs. Standardizing fleets is going to be even more challenging in the future, and that is one of the reasons that aircraft crash today. So for us, we think we have a compelling advantage of folks can buy into the 22, the 44, the 66, and in the future, alternate power plant driven Robinson products. And I think all of those will fit into our portfolio in time. The technology is a long way from replacing the products that you see on the floor today. And the reason for that is physics and chemistry. In our aircraft, we would love today to offer a solution that checks all the boxes. It is not physically within the state of the art. So, but we'll be right in the middle of that. That's a space where we want to be active, and we have partners. One of the great things, people come to us all the time to help co-develop this sort of technology. So we're going to be active in that space in the future.
Hello, Dick Sanford, of nowhere in particular. I have lots of questions, but I don't think we have long enough. But I want to put this to Kurt Robinson. I didn't think anybody could fill Frank Robinson's shoes. I mean, almost an impossible task. Kurt, you've done an absolute brilliant job.
Thank you.
And
Thank you.
apparently, for the first time ever, somebody else has agreed with me. And my mother's not even here. I mean. But Kurt, thank you. Thank you very, very much for what you've done with the Robinson product. I don't think there was anybody else that could do that. And the safety enhancements that you're quite rightly proud of are fantastic. And down to you, sir. And thank you for allowing me to be involved in a very small way in Robinson Helicopter Company. Kurt, thank you.
Thank you, Dick. That's very kind of you. Nobody can replace Frank, but it was pounded in my brain from him, our ideals and our wants and our desires. And I do know when he left, and Terry and I and a team of Pete Riedel, Tim Getz, all of us worked together. No one of us could replace Frank, but we knew collectively as a group where we were going as a company, and we all worked together. I won't say seamlessly, but we worked together as a group to continue on. And I feel like I've done my bit, and now I'm very, very proud to turn it over and to say, all right, it's your baby now, let's go. And that's where we're at. And so it's pretty exciting. It's really an enterprising thing. But thanks, Dick. That was very kind of you, and I appreciate that. Well, if there's no more questions, we'll both be up here for a little bit for those who like to be a little gun shy, don't want to ask things in public. But again, we want to thank everybody for coming. We think the future is incredibly bright at Robinson Helicopter, and we look forward to working with all of you. Thank you so much.
Thank you.